In this screencast, we're going to look at basic materials. So I need to select my teddy bear, right-click to make sure that it is outlined in pink and selected. And then down in the button panel, I want to make sure I'm using my shading button, that's F5. And within the shading button, I'm using the material button, so the gray ball and the red ball. And materials, I'm actually defining a texture or a pattern that I can apply to lots of different shapes, and I'll actually give it a name. It's got all sorts of things going on with it. Right now, the only thing we can see is that I don't have anything down here. My only option is to add new. That creates a new material that's named material. I'm going to call it fuzzy brown because that's what I'd like my teddy bear to look like. And the basic settings over here are these little color wheels that show us the base color of my material, which is a light gray, and the specular and mirror colors. We have a little preview over here on the left of what this looks like. I'm going to start by changing my base color. I'm going to left click in this well and find a nice brown color for my teddy bear. And I've got the color I want selected. I just did that with a couple of left clicks. I'm going to hit enter to finalize it. And you see my bear turns brown up here. This is a rough preview of what it looks like. And then down here in the preview is actually showing me something much closer to what it'll really look like when it's rendered. You see it has this little shiny highlight on it. That's what would happen if this were a very plasticky or metallic material. You get these little shiny bright spots on it that are actually reflecting the light source. These are called specular highlights, and I can actually change what color they are by adjusting the specular color. To do that, I click in the specular well, and I'm going to say I want to have a bright red specular highlight. And you can see that the bright spots on my bear now become red. So if I were building a metallic bear, I might want to have him yellow, but have sort of a greenish tinge to the specular highlights. The last color down here is one we're not going to work with immediately. This is the mirror color, and this is what color objects reflected in the surface of our shape will be tinted. So for right now, I'm actually going to turn my specular color back to a regular white, which will look a little bit more normal, and think about how do we adjust how shiny this object is. We've set the color of it, but really we like to adjust our teddy bear to be much less shiny than it is right now. Teddy bears are not shiny objects. It turns out that over here under the Shaders tab, we can adjust the level of specularity. It goes from 0, which is no reflection. You can see that looks much more teddy bear-like, all the way up to 2, which is very, very, very shiny. So if my teddy bear were made out of, say, glass. And in fact, you can go out on the internet and look up the actual specular component of many materials if you want to get exactly the right thing for the material you're working with. I'm going to take my teddy bear down to 0 again, so it's brown and not shiny. It is worth mentioning that if I were to take the specularity up, I could adjust the shape of that dot by changing the hardness of it. But I'm going to take it down to 0 so it's not shiny at all. And now I have my teddy bear. If I'd like to see my teddy bear previewed as it will actually look when it's rendered, I can either render it or I can go to View and choose Render Preview. And this will pop open a small pane on my window that will actually give me a little preview of whatever's inside it, how it's going to look when it actually is rendered for real. And we can see that I actually have some light source issues. My light is in the wrong place in relation to my bear, but I'm getting a sense that this bear is going to be rendered more or less the right shade.